Bailey. Today, we're going to talk about death, destruction, enormous ash clouds, fear-mongering, and inevitably, disaster movies.
These are just a few of my favorite things.
My Mother's Day gift to you is this week's disaster. What would happen if the Yellowstone supervolcano erupted?
Yes, I specifically asked for this one. Roll the intro.
Are you excited?
I am so excited. I am beyond excited. But before we get ahead of ourselves, Madison, tell the people who we are.
We are Calamity Janes. I am Madison.
And I'm Bailey. And
That's Bailey.
Yes, I am Bailey. And we're two anything but plain Janes who talk about, as you probably could have guessed by this point, disaster, mayhem, general calamity.
Yes.
Inconveniences, discomfort.
All of this would certainly be inconvenient and uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
That too. Oh, let's get into it, Moo.
Okay, so first, sorry to hit two natural disasters in a row, but I figured this hypothetical would be different enough, and I needed to give you a present. So let's get down to business.
What a special first Mother's Day.
I forget, it is your first Mother's Day.
It is my first Mother's Day, and your second, so congratulations to both of us.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's figure out just how worried we need to be. And because I don't like fear-mongering, I'm going to let you know right now that we do not need to be worried at all. Unless you're, like, immortal or something, and you're going to live forever.
We can sleep easy tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways, for those outside of the U.S., Yellowstone is a national park in the western United States. Very beautiful, very popular. It also happens to sit atop one big old supervolcano. A supervolcano, you ask? What even is that, if not something made up in that one disaster movie you love to hate? Well, I'm here to tell you, a supervolcano is very real and very scary.
Quick question. Is there a movie called Supervolcano?
I don't think so. I mean, there might be, but it doesn't sound like a real thing.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like Sharknado.
Yes, exactly. Yes. A supervolcano is defined by the USGS as a volcanic center that has experienced an eruption of magnitude 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index. Whew. This means that at one point, the volcano spewed more than 1,000 cubic kilometers or 240 cubic miles of ejecta.
That's a lot of miles.
Yes.
That's a lot of miles. And that's just the immediate kaboom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just for the record, an 8 is as high as that logarithmic scale goes.
Does the Earth just crack in half at 10?
An 8 is as high as it goes.
That's why. It's because the Earth would be decimated anywhere beyond an 8.
Yeah. For comparison, the deadly Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980 was a 5.
Oh. So we've had
some logarithmic. Really, it's logarithmic, so we need to keep that in mind. But it does put into perspective, my goodness, that we have had some really intense volcanic eruptions in recent history.
Yes, but that an 8 compared to St. Helens would be 1,000 times. Is that how that works? Log, or is it a log 10?
I think it's a log of 10.
So yeah, it would be like 1,000 times worse.
It would be way worse. That's as scientific as I can get about it.
It would mathematically be way worse.
It would mathematically be horrible.
It'd be real bad. Scientists say it would be real bad.
Yes. When a supervolcano erupts, it leaves behind basically a big pothole that once held all the now evacuated magma called a caldera.
Really? Because I guess I would have thought that kind of like the Hawaiian Islands, it builds up. Like it gets higher and taller and bigger.
Well, I think first there are lots of different types of volcanoes. The volcanoes in Hawaii are very different than this.
Those are vacation volcanoes.
Those are vacation volcanoes.
Yes.
They exist to serve you and to create more vacation spots.
Yes.
This is not that. This is the opposite. This is the
opposite of a vacation volcano. Okay.
This is basically, I'm trying to think of a way, like a good analogy for this, but so we've got our flat land, we've got our Earth's crust.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath that, we've just got this huge, massive pocket of magma that's constantly being fed from the Earth's core, and or I guess the mantle. And so you've just got this big pocket, and because it's constantly being fed, it's pushing up and pressure is building. We've got gases, we've got rocks, we've got all this stuff going on, and then it explodes. Like, this is the characteristic movie kapow kind of explode.
Kapow, gotcha.
And because it's all up in the air, you're left with this huge gaping like expanse that once held all of that magma.
Okay, you're gonna hate this analogy because it's.
Are you gonna compare it to a blemish?
Sure am.
I know,
I was
that's
gonna say pimple because
and I hate I
know.
hate that word.
I know.
That's what I was trying to avoid this whole time, was comparing it to that. And it's all I could think of.
I should have known that mentally you were dancing around this because I'm like, it feels like she's describing a pimple, but she doesn't want to say that. So
I'm describing a blemish.
To everyone else who is ugged out by the concept, the word, so sorry, but that's what it is. It sounds like that's what we're dealing with. A blemish on the face of the earth.
I knew you would do it. Okay, we have to, we cannot dwell here. I cannot handle it.
Okay, moving right along.
Okay, so much of Yellowstone is a caldera. That's how huge this volcano is.
Oh, it is. It never occurred to me that, like, it's, you think it's a valley, but it's a volcano caldera.
Yeah, it once held huge amounts of magma. So after lava flows filled in, though, much of the caldera resulting from the most recent eruption, there's still a hole roughly 30 by 45 miles wide.
Entirely too wide, entirely too big. How recent was this eruption?
So Yellowstone has experienced 3 enormous eruptions. 2.1 million years ago, we had the Huckleberry Ridge event that shot 588 cubic miles of volcanic material and created a caldera the size of 4 Manhattans.
4 Manhattans.
1.3 million years ago, there was the Mesa Falls eruption, technically a Category 7 on the VEI, but mostly treated as another super eruption.
Okay.
And most recently, 640,000 years ago, we had the Lava Creek eruption that spewed 240 cubic miles of material with an ash pillar 100,000 feet high that scattered debris from the western U.S. down to the Gulf of Mexico.
The Earth is dramatic. She's a little dramatic.
Very much so. And
it's like she's very even-keeled until she loses her temper. And then she's like...
Boom,
absolutely
kaboom,
not.
boom, boom.
Kaboom,
yes.
boom, kablow, kablow.
Exactly.
I'll show you who is the boss.
And she often does.
Often.
So if you ever wonder why Yellowstone has all those beautiful geysers and hot springs, it's because it's sitting on top of a giant hot plate that's constantly fueling these tiny sideshows. Magma 5 miles beneath the Earth's surface heats Yellowstone's groundwater, and boom, you've got Old Faithful. So in some ways, Yellowstone is very active, but in all of the important ways, it's very not.
In all the volcanic, surface level volcanic ways, it's not. It's active with, like, water geysers.
Yes. Yeah. It is being fueled, like geologically fueled by...
geothermally, like...
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. But volcanically, it is... what we're worried about is not going to happen.
Okay. Great.
Because... so the last, like I said, the last eruption was 640,000 years ago.
So long ago.
Yeah. They're not exactly frequent, and absolutely no one is saying we are due for one anytime soon.
Okay.
I mean, like, geologically, on the scale of Earth's life, it's certainly coming up, but for us, not a priority.
Okay. It's more like in Earth time, it's like next year.
Sure.
Okay.
I hope.
Gotcha. But for us, it's like a millennia away.
Way more than that. But yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. So, in fact, Yellowstone experiences 1,000 to 3,000 earthquakes each year. And although seismic activity is often a precursor to volcanic activity, it might actually release some of the pressure underneath the caldera and prevent any big booms from happening anytime soon.
Good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Earth therapy, just working through those problems without the explosion. Good for her.
Beautiful way to put this.
Thank you so much.
That was so eloquent.
Thank
Good
you.
for you.
You're crushing this episode, Moo. This is everything I could have asked for and
Are
more.
you? I am so glad you're excited about it.
Very.
Okay. So now that we've eliminated the fear-mongering aspect of this potential disaster, let's talk about what we all really want to know. What would happen if the Yellowstone supervolcano erupted tomorrow?
Let's get into it.
Have you seen the movie 2012?
I have not.
Okay, I didn't think so. But it actually kind of holds up in terms of cheesy disaster movies.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I saw it in theaters when it came out. And then when the pandemic started, I watched it again.
Because I've heard that's true, though. Like, not when COVID started, it wasn't just people binging, like, pandemic movies.
I watched Contagion,
movies.
yeah,
but it was also disaster movies in general. It was like this collective interest in like living through multiple global disasters at a time.
Because I was, at that time, I was finishing up law school remotely. I was pregnant and sicker than a dog. And I was like, but you know what would make me feel better? Watching people...
Disaster.
Watching people survive something way worse than this.
Way harder. I guess it does put your problems in perspective. Yes.
Yeah. And the graphics are actually pretty decent. Like, for a disaster movie, it's got way too convenient timing and, like, really lots of unrealistic stuff, but it's John Cusack and
John Cusack.
Yeah, it's a good one. Overall, I would recommend it.
Okay. On the list.
Yeah.
Which quick pause. I do because I want credit for this, that I have now watched Moana and Encanto. I want credit for it. I loved them. I laughed. I cried through both of them. So when I say I'm putting something on a list, 2012 is on my list, and I will get to it. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next week, but it's on my list.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Okay.
Is that the effort is there.
I put it in, it just is delayed. It's a delayed views.
That's okay.
Just like the supervolcano.
Exactly. You're listening.
I am.
Okay, so I bring up 2012 because a very large part of that movie is, you guessed it, a Yellowstone eruption. And ignoring our protagonist's ability to outrun its massive pyroclastic flow, it makes for a pretty cool visualization of such a massive eruption. Now, I'm not saying it's accurate by any means, but again, as far as graphics go and the scale, it could be a lot worse. I feel like in a lot of volcano movies, we're looking at those big cone volcanoes and you're getting like the very classic.
Yeah.
But this is quite literally just everything around you just explodes.
Explodes, then implodes.
Yeah. But there's a scene where they are outrunning a pyroclastic flow in like an RV or something, and that is just not going to happen. So.
And to refresh, because I actually learned what a pyroclastic flow was in a previous episode. So that is it's hot air.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a superheated like gush of hot air and debris and gas that comes out with the volcano, or comes out of the volcano at the explosion.
If Best Friends, you have not listened to that, I forget which one it is. I can link it in the show notes. But yeah, I always thought it was like lava, magma, something to that effect. No.
Well, flow makes you think of something a little
Liquid.
more tangible. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not. It's air.
Nope, it is. Yeah, because if you in movies, it's going to look like that giant wall of like furious, violent ash coming at you.
Yeah.
But it is super, super hot and moves
Very
way faster than your RV is going to drive. But anyways, so if you put stuff like that aside, good movie, watch it. Woody Harrelson's also in it as your token Yellowstone crazy person. Not like people around Yellowstone are crazy, but people who are like Yellowstone conspiracy.
I could see that.
People.
Yeah.
He does a great job. Who doesn't like Woody Harrelson?
I mean, such a versatile actor. So
He
versatile.
truly is. Okay. Back to the show.
Back at it.
Yellowstone sits atop an active tectonic zone, which is a thinned area of crust over a 2,500-degree magma dome rising up from Earth's mantle.
So like a bubble.
Yeah.
Like a big
Exactly.
bubble ready to burst.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Through past activity, this dome has broken down into 2 magma chambers about 6 miles underground, with each measuring more than 30 miles across.
How do they measure this? Is it like through that thing where you shake the ground or you send waves through the ground and like you try and map all the different...
That sounds very accurate.
Cool. I'm just wondering, like, how do they know this, A, big bubble exists, B, now it's 2 chambers of bubble, double bubble trouble, and, like, what? How do they know it's down there?
It's fascinating. Well, I was also trying to figure out, how do they know exactly how big the explosions were 2 million years ago, 1 million years ago, 640,000 years ago?
Yeah. Maybe, like, layers of sediment?
Probably.
You know, when you look
Yeah.
at that, probably. I don't know. I'm just here for the commentary. I don't know anything.
And you're so good at that. We'll just stay in our lane.
Yes, I'm going to stay in my lane.
Eventually, pressure builds in these domes and kaboom. They explode upwards and rain searing hot ash and debris across hundreds of miles and unleash that deadly pyroclastic flow we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Because of its sheer size, there will likely be smaller eruptions in the following weeks.
Okay.
Feet of ash will rain down on the western and large parts of the midwestern United States. I don't think we would be okay here in Omaha.
No, you'd be getting feet of a different kind of precipitation.
Yeah.
Ash angels.
The East Coast would see a dusting as well. So much ash would not only collapse buildings, pollute water sources, destroy crops, and clog car engines, but that ash is also filled with teeny tiny glass shards that will rip your lungs to shreds when inhaled.
Because it's so hot that, like, any silica, it, like, immediately... Oh, man, I didn't even think about that.
Yes, exactly.
Grotesque and disgusting.
Yeah. So your food source is gone, your water source is polluted, transportation is extremely compromised, your buildings are crumbling around you, and that's just from the ash.
That's why you need a cave bunker. You need a mountain cave bunker.
Yeah. And, well, but then is your air supply going to be compromised?
Oh, yeah. Well, where do air in caverns come from? Where do air in caverns come from? I don't know. Do you necessarily need an opening? I don't know.
I don't know the answer to any of these questions. Well, caverns always have an opening, right?
Yeah, but like what happened before there was an opening? Is it just like perfectly sealed? No. I don't know,
man.
Geologists, please write in and let us know all the incorrect things we've just said.
Oh my gosh. If I would happily take criticism on this episode if someone would just explain this to me,
Yes.
I would be a better person having known all of this information.
And what to do in the event of a geological disaster as grand as this one.
Yes. Within a few weeks after the eruption, ash and sulfate aerosols would have encircled the Earth. Sunlight would be filtered through a grim gray veil, and global temperatures would decrease by 5 to 9 degrees for nearly a decade.
5 to 9, the whole Earth, 5 to 9 degrees, just down like that.
Yep.
This might not be in your research. What would that do to ice caps? Would we have like more glaciers? Would that impact the amount of ice?
I would think so.
I would think so too. Because didn't they? We haven't covered the mini ice age, have we? No. I think I'm thinking of the other historic volcano explosion where they're like speculating about the global impact. But I think there's a mini ice age like a couple centuries ago, and they called it that because it was so cold for so long because of a volcanic eruption.
Are you talking about the second episode we did? Like it was like in the 500
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, because you're like, this also could be like explains the rise and fall of major civilizations. And
Well, and I think this would be a very similar outcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this is on that scale. This is as big as it gets. This is as big as we've ever measured. And I don't think we have any reason to think that the next time it explodes, it would be any smaller.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Cool.
1/3 of the United States, mostly Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming, because they all border Yellowstone, would be uninhabitable for years.
Cool. Just an absolute hellscape.
Yes.
Okay.
Overall, a very poor and predictably grim result. But, again, this is so unlikely, not only in our lifetime, but for the next 100,000 years.
Yeah, wow, that would be, boy, would property value go down. I'll tell you that much.
It sure would.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about right now.
Yep, I think that's what it's on everyone's minds right now.
It's all I think about is property value these days. There are so many talented scientists keeping a very close eye on Yellowstone and its many tiny earthquakes just in case Earth decides to go rogue and do something weird. Many of those states I listed off before are some of the least populated in the country, and although an eruption would undoubtedly and inevitably lead to a loss of life and beautiful landscape, any warning at all would allow people in those states or closest to the eruption to evacuate or prepare. So because they're not as populated, it's fewer people to try to get out. So hopefully if we start to pick up on a pattern of earthquakes or other seismic activity, we can plan an evacuation. Because there would be, although the entire world would be affected, and there would be lots of adjustments that need to be made, as far as like the immediate eruption goes, I think a lot could be done to help.
You wouldn't be swallowed by an ocean of liquid magma, lava.
Yes. So try to put it out of your mind. You're welcome, and happy Mother's Day.
Moo. This was perfect. I have no words.
I'm so glad you liked it.
This was amazing, and everything I had hoped our hypothetical mega volcano episode would be. Thank you for just leading off with the fact that this is not a reality in our lifetimes.
We are not here to fearmonger.
Right. It'll help me sleep better tonight. But I think you gave us the thing that we love about disasters, which is the what if. What catastrophe will befall? How will we fix it? Well, how can we, avert the crisis?
Everyone likes to think about those things.
It's true. Everyone has a zombie apocalypse plan. And if you don't, you should. PSA, best friends. If you don't have a zombie apocalypse plan, buy some beans, canned beans or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Before I had Bonnie, my zombie apocalypse plan was to just not deal with it for very long. And now that I have Bonnie, I feel
I'm just going to be the person who goes early on in the episode. That's me.
That's okay. I know that's who I am as a person.
You just go stand outside waiting for someone to bite you.
There's just no point in denying it. But now that I have a kid, I'm obligated to keep her alive.
Now you have someone to live for. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Anytime I would tell Ryan that, I was like, I have no intention of living through the apocalypse. And he was like, what is wrong with you?
So what is your plan now?
I don't know. I think I'm hoping that Ryan has enough of a plan for the both of us.
Yeah. Well, you might want to discuss your zombie apocalypse plan with your partner. Everyone, tonight, this is your assignment, best friends. Talk to your loved ones about what your zombie apocalypse plans are.
I was like, I am a person with anxiety, asthma, and a heart condition. I have no business being in the apocalypse. I have no business making it past the first episode.
You don't know that. You could really surprise yourself, Something about pressure making a diamond. I don't know. Insert that here.
Pressure also just crushes people. So,
but you're a diamond. Well, right now you're a lump of coal. You would become a diamond.
Thanks.
You bet.
Happy Mother's Day, Madison.
Happy Mother's Day, Madison. You lump of coal. That's okay though, because coal is fuel. And we love
dirty, irresponsible fuel.
But fuel nonetheless that becomes diamonds can become diamonds. Can become diamonds. Back to what a wonderful episode this was. Excellent writing, excellent telling of the mega volcano. I appreciate it. Super mega ultra volcano.
With sharks.
Sharkcano.
Sharknado.
That should be a movie.
It really should.
Whoever did Sharknado, call me. I have ideas.
Occasionally, when I get on TikTok, I don't know why, but the Velocipaster people keep popping up.
Yeah.
And I just have so many questions about whose idea that was, why that was allowed to be made.
Wait. I think I'm confusing this with a different meme of Velociraptor. And it's a meme of a raptor who shares philosophy.
Philosopher. Yes. No, this is Velocipaster.
Okay, tell me more about this.
He's a pastor who turns into a velociraptor. I don't know anything about
so I definitely am not on that side of TikTok. I have not seen that.
I just very occasionally will get a video where someone's like, look at this movie I found, and it's always Velocipaster. And then one time the guy who is the Velocipaster was duetted the video, and I just don't understand. You should just look up the
Velocipaster.
Yeah.
So this is a live action movie.
Yeah.
And it's not...
I have to assume it debuted on the Sci-Fi Channel.
And I'm trying to imagine the effects here, because at first I was like,
it's not good.
Okay, but it's not what I was envisioning, which was the T-Rex blow-up outfit. He just becomes the T-Rex blow-up outfit. Budget cuts.
With a little collar.
Yeah. Yeah, with a little white collar.
Oh my gosh. I think the art, the cover art or the movie art, is a velociraptor holding a Bible.
I'm going to look this up right.
I don't know anything else about it. I've never seen it.
The Velocipaster. Oh, it looks... Okay, for some reason, there isn't a large... It is hard to find a large...
Well, that's your first red flag.
Version of this image, yes. Okay. Let me give you a visual description for those who are not watching with us on YouTube. So this movie poster... Top half, Velociraptor, screaming out towards the audience, the whole slime, tongue out, very mean looking. The Velocipaster in red looks like it's scratched in, but instead of the T, it's a cross, and then underneath the subtitle is A Man of the Claw. And there's a pastor. There's ninjas behind the pastor. This is an adventure. Just looking at this is quite the adventure.
Okay, here's the synopsis. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. Although he is horrified by the new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime.
And ninjas, period.
And people on Google underneath it, people also search for the good dinosaur.
Because you need balance. I'm not entirely sure. This Velocipaster looks very hardcore. So, I am not here to degrade anyone's art. Oh, there is a picture though of the dinosaur. I do want to see that.
That's not a Velociraptor.
Yeah, it is a T-Rex. That dinosaur is a T-Rex.
Yeah. It sure is. You can tell the entire budget went towards the movie poster graphics.
And maybe choreography, because I will say there are 4 ninjas to this dinosaur. So that could be a pretty well choreographed scene. You never know.
Yeah. The budget was $36,000.
Wow.
It has a 56% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So that is not what I was expecting.
Well, here's what I wasn't expecting. For our podcast to become, it's not even a movie. We're not even movie critics. We haven't even seen the movie. We're just critics of the pre-movie.
Concept.
Yes, the concept. Although I'm sure you have seen snippets of it as you have come across it on TikTok.
Oh, basically only of that fight scene with that T-Rex / Velocipaster not just messing people up. It has to be like satire, right?
There's only one way to know, Moo.
I know.
Looks like
we'll
you're
save
gonna
it
have to watch
for
it
when we're together. Nope, we're gonna watch it together.
My list of movies to watch is very long. I can't prioritize it. I have 2012 up there. I've really been meaning to watch Titanic again. So very busy.
Okay.
Very busy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, this is not where I expected this episode to end, but I'm happy we got there.
Me neither. You really took a left turn into Velocipaster.
I'm sorry. I think it's just been weighing on my heart for a while, and I
just really had to share that with everyone.
I think I just needed to make it known and like give it a Google and make sure I wasn't imagining these
hallucinating.
Yeah.
Your TikTok feed.
Yeah.
Yes. Fever dream TikTok.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, everyone. If you have stuck with us this far, we so appreciate it. If you listen, if you've just continued, if this is your first episode, welcome. Welcome. We hope you enjoyed. If you are longtime best friends, listeners of the podcast, we love you. Welcome back. We hope you keep coming back for more.
You are invaluable to us.
Invaluable. That's all from us for this week.
Yes. If you have your own disaster or weird disaster movie that you would like to talk about, if you also are questioning the existence of a bizarre sci-fi movie and you want to feel less crazy, email us. We can be those people for you.
Yes, for sure. At the very least, we can Google it, help you Google it.
Yep. It will be wonderful. So thank you so much for listening. We love you all. Best friends, and we will be in your ears next week.
Sure will. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.